coming for you.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Is it my beard?
Coming for
Yeah, but their beards were fake.
you. So that was really him singing the song.
Who, George Clooney?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a band.
Yes, sir. Did you go to the hospital? Well, you want to sell me a cigarette? You'll breathe better. Mm. Thank you, sir. Um, yeah, I was going to let you know that's actually for a bike, but I think you know that.
For a bike?
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that a song by Kellis? What kind of truck is that? I said, what kind of truck is that? I don't know. I don't recognize it. It's beat to shit. It's foggy as fuck out here. I think I do. found that on an electrical box. Okay. I gotta go find a restroom. I don't. I got this thing that doesn't work. I gotta pull it out and shove it in, and sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. Alright, I was trying to charge up my phone. And I encountered a situation, so I figured I'd start recording. I needed to put some stuff on, but I plugged it in. I just didn't pay attention to what I was doing because I used a cord that doesn't fucking work. Thank goodness for Tillamook cheese. Van in the parking lot that's all covered with stuff, and they were talking about towing it. And my car is all covered with stuff. The guy next to me, he's the guy from this morning. He's telling me he got blown up by a mortar. So, wounded by a mortar anyway. almond cheese and rice. Be safe. Oh my god. Lots of meth, just like everywhere else. If I don't bring enough attention on my damn self, I try to be friendly with everyone, and I do see addicts as people and talk to them like they're people, although sometimes the person that they are is lost in their drug of choice. They become the drug. Alright. I still have about half a tank of gas. I have $1.42 left on one of those Fred Meyers cards. I got $10 plus that change in my pocket. I gotta survive till the morning. I can do that. I don't know how to express how stressful it gets out here. A lot of fucking tweakers. A lot of them. Some of them are alright. Some of them are just completely lost in their own little world. Playing around in La La Land. I'm scared of tweakers on the road. I'm also afraid of people with head trauma on the road. Between the two, tweakers are the ones who are the most dangerous. There's a difference between decriminalizing and legalizing. What they've done here is decriminalize up to a point. It is not the same. We got the little dweezil in the Toyota Celica. He's not even worth busting. You just follow him to his fucking dealer's house when he re-ups. So you want to go after the distributors? No. See, that's always going to happen. That's always going to happen. What you want to do is you want to get the higher ups. And you want to keep going. You want to keep riding it all the way to the top. And then you go pick them all at once. There's enough bullshit with my case for the United States government to go through and clean house. few places. As far as human trafficking goes, I told you that there was a lot of police involved. I told you that the trafficking was going through Boulder, and guess what? I wasn't bullshitting you. I brought you witnesses, actual victims. They need to be heard and they need to be kept safe. You want to be paranoid that somebody's going to steal your little girl when you go to a rest area? You're going to be afraid that just walking from the bus to your front door that somebody's going to snatch her up and run her off? You know, if you get actively involved, we're going to see a lot more of them little girls pop up safe, brought home safe. And not just little girls. Not sure if you noticed, but the Hollywood upper echelon, they seem to like little boys, according to, who is it, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim? Yeah, that's what you guys care about. The people at the top who are victimized. Well, I'm glad that he exposed it. I'm glad they exposed it. And congratulations, we ain't heard much, have we? Y'all don't like the fact that I talk harshly about them, about their behaviors, about how they act, about how it does scare people. And of course, I show you the pictures. I show you the events and the people. The where, how, and why. How scary are they really? The guy who talks to himself, you know, he's very self-aware. I said, I feel bad for you, because he was telling me he just got out of prison. He said, well, I feel bad for myself. He's the one who was stuck with the guy who talks to his hand. Now, that time in the hole will fuck your head up. Really, really fuck your head up. It's sensory deprivation, and it fucking sucks. It's not complete sensory deprivation. That takes a lot of work in very specialized facilities. But when you gotta shit, literally shit in a hole in the floor, because you told on a couple of fucking guards to think, well, how dare you? We were told you're mentally ill, so we can do it as we choose. And they sure as fuck did. By pretending that I'm schizophrenic and delusional and all that other shit, they guaranteed that I was going to be abused as fuck. And anybody who abused me, they weren't going to listen to me. They sure as fuck weren't going to listen to me after being told I'm a crazy person. Alright? So at that point, they can violate my rights. They don't give a shit. Nobody's going to fucking listen to me. Well, the problem is somebody did listen to me. At least in part. The problem was that she didn't do her fucking job. Holy fuck, that sucks. I got a whole nother computer I don't even have the ability to fucking pull out and access. If I had a place to do that, great. But if you're gonna make me stick with a fucking alcoholic that can't help but fucking scream at people all day, holy hell, I can't handle that. If your kids are playing in the background, that's fine. But if you are paranoid that you're going to get in trouble and somebody's going to fucking haunt your kids or fucking stalk your kids or harass you or fucking tell you not to, certainly they are. That's the point. When people say they can handle it, no, the fuck they can't. They've shown that time and again. I mean, how much of a heart attack do you think that gave Candace Bonder on? When she was threatened with getting kicked out of there for helping me. Yeah, nobody cared if I was fucking guilty or innocent. They assumed my fucking guilt, and they were going to do everything in their fucking power to cut me off from resources. And that wasn't the scariest part. Imagine getting talked to by the cops when you're taking your kids to school in a small town, and then you go to the hospital where you work, and the fucking cops come there too. Meanwhile, I was the one who called 911. I was the one they should have fucking spoken to. I was the one they should have followed up with. They should not have harassed Candace Bondurant. When I say I'm an asshole, I mean it. When it comes to my dead loved ones, whether they were perfect or not, they're still my loved ones. Christine Bouhit, absolutely fucking not perfect. She's one of the other people who thought that attempted sexual assault was okay. It wasn't. And Ryan, he's the one. Christopher Weaver can tell you all about Ryan. He'll probably say so in a very hateful fashion. But yep, Christine Bouhit, that mounting up on top of me and spitting water into my mouth was acceptable. It wasn't. But that's not sexual assault. That was just completely unwarranted, unwanted, and fucking gross. Ew. Ryan was there for that. Now then, when I was staying in my car and she decided that she wanted to cuddle, she did take no for an answer. It just took a bit. I told her absolutely not. You don't get to touch me at all. At all. She said, I promise not to do it again. She didn't do it again. Thank goodness. You don't grab somebody's parts when they say, hey, I'm trying to sleep. I wasn't asleep yet, so she thought that it was okay. No, it's not okay. No means no. She's the one that said that she was not okay with being touched in inappropriate ways, and that if I was going to be the outside spoon, if I poked her in the back with anything, blah, 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 I was like, ain't nothing like that going to happen. I don't want to spoon. I just want to go to sleep. If you want to cuddle, that's okay, but I ain't spooning with you. I'm fucking tired. That was the one and only night I ever slept with Christine, and it was not a sexual thing at all. It was just a fucking annoyance. It was not a comfortable vehicle to sleep in, and with just one of me, it was bad. Not as bad as this, but with two of us in there, no, it wasn't comfy. There's a few more situations with females who felt it was inappropriate, or felt it was okay for them to touch me inappropriately. Now, since we know that it's inappropriate, it's not okay, it needs to not happen, it's not acceptable. We need to understand it's not acceptable either way. It's not that I've never had women hit on me, it's that, holy shit, no, not in that way. That's not cool. And then there's Mike Dietrich's cousin, of course. Now, that one really creeped me out because, like, all right, so she's telling me about her brother committing suicide, and then she grabs my crotch. No, that's going to fucking freak me out, too. She's got tears running down her face, and she grabs my equipment. No. That's just, I don't understand any of that. I don't. Like, is that part of the mating ritual? You tell me you're vulnerable and then you touch me? Because at that point, my brain is as far away from sex as possible. It's, all right, this lady is bouncing off of me like I'm a therapist. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the fuck? You're telling me about your traumatic shit and then you're wanting me. Holy fuck. That is messed up. No, not okay. Now, technically, since I had to tell her more than once, yes, it's sexual assault. But see, here's the thing with all these women, because they're women, I didn't think of it as sexual assault. Because you're not trained the same way a woman is. A woman is taught that if you grab her backside and she tells you not to, that you need to go to jail. She's also taught that if it's uncomfortable, she doesn't have to say it. She'll tell the police she said it or her parents that she said it. And then you get in trouble. So maybe just don't, of course, take advice from people like my older brother. That's a horrible story here. Of course, I was a kid then when I stuck my hand on Nicole Trujillo's backside. Sometimes you get older brothers who know what the hell they're talking about, and sometimes that poor girl's mom calls up your mom to tell you made her cry. I don't get it. I mean, I certainly get it now. Back then, I was like, I did what my brother told me to. He said if you stick your hand on her backside, if she likes you, she'll let you keep it there. If she doesn't like it, she'll tell you not to. She didn't actually tell me not to. And I grew up in the system. I don't know shit. I mean, it's a fucking segregated system, and there's no touching. There's no hugs. There's no fucking nothing. So for me, trying to figure this shit out, I was like 12. And I'm on a visit, and I'm visiting my mom in Nebraska, and yeah, I didn't know shit. Learning that I made Nicole Trujillo cry, fuck, that made me feel, I still feel bad about that. But that's the thing, either you learn from it, or of course, you get a big head and you do it again and again and again and again. Well, I didn't fucking have to go through all that. I learned my fucking lesson the first time. Don't listen to Rabbit when it comes to women. He's got advice that absolutely does work. I've seen it work hundreds of times. There are women that I had the biggest crush on just because they were super sweet and super nice and they treated me like a person, and that was refreshing. But even them, I knew that the right guy comes along, he's got the drugs they want, that's all it's going to take. Natalie Bollinger, you got the heroin, fuck it. Any of those girls in Chapel, Nebraska that were messing around with Drake Chambers, yeah, you can rest pretty assured that he had a pretty decent handle on the methamphetamines there in Chapel, Nebraska due to his association with Alan Bain. Yeah, almost every girl in Chapel, Nebraska at the time could tell you how big Drake Chambers' little Tinky Winky was. But they wanted the meth and they kept going back, now didn't they? Do you want the little list or the big list? Thank goodness I'm nicer than that. When people did stuff to me that I didn't like, I just had to accept it. Nobody was going to listen to me. When that stuff happens, people tell you, and this is the thing, this is one of the things that I was extremely uncomfortable with, getting stabbed in the ass with fucking Carrozilla. Nicole Jarrell, yeah, she fucking went to Naropa University to be a therapist. She was actually the therapist of my stalker, and she broke confidentiality all the time. She made me feel more bad for Brianna Hernandez Cordona than I had ever felt bad for anybody my entire life. Because Nicole Jarrell, rather than being a professional, was telling me what my underage stalker was telling her. And yeah, it's fucking twisted, delusional shit. And I fucking felt horrible. I'm like, oh my God. Remind me not to get Nicole Jarrell as a therapist. And what sucks is that when the situation with Natalie happened, yeah, I got to call fucking Carazilla girl from Nederland, Colorado. And who did she fucking hook me up with? Jeff Ritter and Kara Heller from Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, who are fucking useless. I tried explaining to him, hey, I am being abused. I don't have any resources, no money to do nothing, no bus ticket, nothing. If I could fucking travel all the way back to fucking Louisville, I could fucking go to the Louisville PD and I can get my goddamn money. It's my money. All I need is a fucking bus ticket there. That's all I fucking need. I'm like, hey, this is the thing, is that you guys told me, yeah, we'll fucking help you to get a lawyer. This is fucking obviously abuse that you're going through. We'll fucking help you get a lawyer. You need to have paperwork before you can get a lawyer. I got the fucking paperwork, and I called him up, and I'm like, paperwork? He says, all right, well, it's Christmas break. We're not going to be back in until after the 1st. Sure enough. Holy shit. Laura Nelson took me to one of my appointments. Laura and David Nelson. They took me to one of my appointments in Colorado with Colorado Coalition of the Homeless. I thought it was the one to go talk to their therapist. This, mind you, is after Natalie was dead. I mean, I was still waiting on confirmation. Everybody else already knew from the news. Sarah Rubiola is the one that, like, when she let me know, it fucking hit hard, because she has a lot of mutual friends. She's friends with Maddie Boa. She's friends with, well, quite a few people with that. She's friends with Katie Whiteman. She's also friends with Smiley Riley from Hood River. Small world, ain't it? There's somebody on my channel that I knew from Boulder here in Tillamook. There's somebody that I knew from Boulder, Colorado, and the Dalles. That would be John, of course, Schmidt. And then Smiley Riley. I didn't know her from Boulder, but I knew Sarah Rubiolo, and she's friends with Sarah Rubiolo. I told you, the homeless are a roving society. They move around all over the place. Boulder, Colorado used to be considered kind of a mecca. You could go there and there was actual opportunities for people. You'd meet somebody and they'd be like, all right, you know what? We don't make a lot of money, but we just started a ma and pa hippie bakery. And some of those made it into pretty decent businesses, by the way. Or, all we do is we go in the mountains and we collect crystals. And lo and behold, that turned into a pretty good business too, by the way. And then there was the horticulture and cultivation and the people coming through wanting to grow organic farms and a lot of other stuff that not only picked up in Boulder, not only was started in Boulder, Colorado, with a bunch of fucking homeless people that congregated. I mean, it was manned almost exclusively by people who, the only reason that they weren't homeless is because they were working on these projects and they were given equal shares of it. So they never left. They became, well, instead of being migrant workers, they ended up getting their own shares of the companies. They ended up getting their own shares for the hard work that they put in at the very beginning. And a lot of that, you get to see it popping up again with the marijuana grows in the state of Colorado. There's a lot of women who had expectations and I let them down and they were not happy. But not all of those women that I let down sexually assaulted me. Not all of those women that I let down didn't take no for an answer. Some of them, when I said no, they understood. Some of them whined at me a bit because I turned them down. But most of them were outright just fucking mean. I mean, it's expected. Like, why is it that if a woman wants sex, a man is expected to give it or he's not a man? Who told you I wanted to have sex with anybody? I got a piece of advice, and it's a good piece of advice. Why the hell would you ask out anybody that you're not willing to have sex with? So I don't ask anybody out anymore. I don't want to have sex with anybody. I want a St. Bernard. I just want a cuddle buddy. My ideal bed is 2 St. Bernards and a Yorkie for my feet, and in the summertime, I'll wash the Yorkie and use it for a pillow. Can't escape the tweakers, no matter where you go. The parking that's almost somewhat socially acceptable, you've either got the tweakers or you've got the people who want to rev up their vehicle real loud, or tweakers who want to rev up their vehicle real loud. Or you get folks who just want to get fucking drunk and then drive around. I mean, it's a quasi-rural area. I say quasi because we're too close to the cities for it to be truly rural, you know? Let me see. There it is. Had one last thing to plug in. Alright. Boogers. I don't like tweakers. They bug me. They annoy the shit out of me. I help them because they're still people. And because most of y'all, because I have Tourette syndrome and Asperger's, you're just going to assume that I'm on drugs and that I'm a fucking crazy person that doesn't know up from down, left from right. You're going to pretend that I'm that guy. And I want to remind you, first of all, that that guy is still a person. And second of all, just because there's a stereotype doesn't mean that I have to live up to it. There are things that I am willing to do to save other human beings' lives, especially if they're children. That includes going back to prison. In all these situations, I was trying to protect myself and my loved ones, and that does include a lot of children. It also includes the children of people I never met. People like Cara Rogers, who claimed that her child was threatened, that they threatened to tie a noose around his neck and drew a picture of her son with a noose around his neck. I got her last name from the detectives in Natalie's case. She gave me her last name too. But that's how they were able to verify to me that they had spoken with her. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get how it's okay for one person and not for another. I don't get how women can be so completely traumatized, maybe because they're told to be, because boys are told they're not allowed to be. Boys are told we just need to man up. Boys are told don't cry. There's all these people who told me it's okay for me to cry. But there's also a lot of people who are mean over it. A lot of people who wanted to tell me how weak I am because I would cry. Because I would cry for my loved ones. Because I cried for the people who offered to help and then told me that their families were threatened and harassed and intimidated. People like Sarah Bacon, people like Carl Rogers. And then, of course, there's all these gaslighters. People like Layla Johnson. Like, you get to hear the recording with Dan Faber. Yes, of course she wanted more. She didn't want to help me. She had expectations. She thought she was in love with me and all this other fucking crap, according to Dan. And apparently she was doing that in these fucking YouTube and Facebook groups too. And I'm like, holy shit. How is this help? That was about like going in with Drew while he's fucking tripping mushrooms, and I gotta try to get some important shit done at the courthouse. And I'm recording it the best that I fucking can. Of course, I ran out of battery like I knew I would. Meanwhile, Drew, I got the audio recording of it. God, he made everything worse. But at least he tried to go in with me. He was not happy about multiple situations that the cops lied about. I told him straight up what was going on with Danny. Danny verified it. Drew verified it. Quite a few people verified the safety issues and risks for Danny, and then Danny also spoke about the violence against him. I fucking said that it would happen. I told that fucking sheriff. He claimed that he had gone and talked to all these people, and I got it recorded on my YouTube channel that although he did run around and harass some homeless people, he absolutely did not do a goddamn thing about the situation with Danny except put Danny at risk. Make Danny a target. I told him Danny was already a target. The people were already fucking threatening violence against him. Like, he needed to do something. Fucking A. Apparently, I'm going to have issues here because, again, my heater ain't working. I gotta piss like a fucking racehorse. I'd say a Russian racehorse, but if I get in too much of a hurry, I'm gonna end up peeing my pants in an accident. That don't sound like much fun. Anyway, when people want to call me crazy, that's okay. At least I'm crazy in the right way. Every single time that I went to jail, every single time that I was incarcerated, every single time I was protecting children. Every single time. If you don't look at the evidence, though, you just pretend whatever you're fucking told. And that's just stupid. Look for yourself, dummy. I'm not just being judged. People are passing judgment on me as if I were guilty. Because I was never allowed to show evidence, and this was too public for them not to take this shit seriously. Yet, not one fucking person who claimed to love me took it seriously. They wanted to pretend that I could just magic people assaulting me away. Like if I just pretend it didn't happen, that they won't fucking do it. No, people are going to be fucking looking at this for years to come. And I'll tell you what, Natalie Bollinger's story deserves to be fucking heard. All of her words. I want Natalie Marie Bollinger's name to be a fucking household name. The things that her family and her fucking friends did to her and to me are not okay. They're not okay to do to anyone, let alone her or I. And the fact that we both endured this abuse at the hands of not only our own families, but our friends as well. Her friends like Maddie Boa, who had ulterior motives, but you guys want to pretend I'm that dude. Oh, women don't ever get crushes on girls. They never do they? Oh, Christians are never gay or bisexual. Are you kidding me? I know lots of Christians who are bisexual. I know lots of Christians who are homosexual. I also know lots of Christians who would kill them if they knew. Or at least these Christians claim that they would kill homosexuals. Then again, we also see the hatred towards, well, towards child molesters. Who's more likely to get killed in this country, a child molester or a homosexual? That's a good question, and I should actually look it up. Who do you hate more, child molesters or homosexuals? And why? It's disturbing as fuck. Why do you pick sides based on gender? Why do you allow people like Alicia Bollinger and Maddie Boa to sell false narratives? Why do you allow them special privileges just because they're white girls? Just because Maddie Boa has blue eyes? Just because Alicia Bollinger paints herself up like a China doll? By not listening to me, those who claimed to love me ended up getting other people who claimed to love me killed. And whether those people loved me or not, I loved them. Even with the horrible shit that they fucking did to myself and others, I still loved them. Natalie Marie Bollinger's family are horrible people. Obviously, I have enough charge on here that I can do something about getting Tamsin's stuff up on the internet tonight. I was going to do that earlier, but just fucking A. Seeing Molly gives me a fucking shit ton of anxiety. I never know what kind of fucking crazy bullshit she's going to pull. Now maybe she realized that she fucked with the wrong dude and I'm going to record fucking everything and she is not going to get any more fucking chances to do that. And maybe she's like most of the vengeful people I know. And she's just going to bide her fucking time. In either event, I try to record every part of my day for just in case. Ain't no getting away from the tweakers. There's homeless tweakers. They're going to go eat food too. You notice these tweakers do eat sometimes because if they didn't eat, they wouldn't be able to do tweak for years on end. So they show up at the church feeds too. The child molesters also show up at the church feeds. The rapists as well. A lot of the violent felons that were recently released as well. The Toyota Celica, that's a guy he's just one step up from being fucking homeless. He might just live in his car. He is always going to be slinging for someone in a house. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.